Welcome to episode 46 of Discovering Nagasaki from Local. My name is Chad. In my ongoing weekly vlogs, you can experience everyday life in this scenic and fascinating part of Japan. This week, only Daniel Hazen and Denise Rollheiser were able to correctly answer both of last week's vlog questions. Thank you for answering my challenging questions. The first question from last week was, how many different ingredients did I use in my oatmeal double chocolate cookies? The answer is 12 ingredients. The second question from last week was, what is the name of Nagasaki's most famous samurai? The answer is Ryoma Sakamoto. There are still 2 more weeks of rainy season to go in Japan. Unlike last year's torrential rain in June, this year's rain is not causing any flooding, and it's great for farmers like myself. In today's vlog, I will show you how farmers across Japan are planting their rice seedlings in their tambos this month. I will also give you a short tour of the facilities and the view from Mount Inasa in Nagasaki. Let's get started. This is Hirata-san's Mitsubishi rice seedling planter, and this is a close-up of the mechanism used to grab and evenly plant the rice seedlings that are mounted on the back of this machine. He is about to carefully drive this rice planter off of his light-duty truck using the 2 ramps that he has set up. As you can see, it doesn't take long to do. Hirata-san is a fellow farmer who lives close to my farm in Omura. Today he has already planted 3 rice seedling plots, and this will be his 4th and final one. It's only a short drive from here to his tambo or rice field. Normally, Japanese rice farmers plant rice seedlings in June and harvest their rice in September. The rice season here is about 3 months long. His tambo is the one right next to this road. His plot on the left has already been flooded, fertilized, and plowed with a tractor. His rice planting machine has tall, narrow wheels, and it allows him to plant rice seedlings quickly despite the mud. Once he drives to the other side of this rice paddy, he will fill up the rear trays with rice seedlings and then start planting. Hirata-san has just started his first pass of this rice paddy. Notice that he has left an unplanted section on his left because he will do the entire perimeter of the paddy on his last pass. This rice planter has adjustable guide poles on either side, which ensures straight and evenly spaced rows of seedlings. Here you can see a closer view of the guide pole on the right side of his machine. As he uses up the seedlings on his machine, he will add seedlings from the trays on the perimeter of this tambo. After adjusting the seedlings in the position of his planter, he will start his second pass of this rice paddy. There he goes. It will only take about an hour for him to finish planting these rice seedlings. Although this machine is quite maneuverable in the mud, it isn't able to plant seedlings effectively in the corners of the rice field. Rice planters like this one have to be carefully maintained and operated because they are expensive and not that durable. They also need to be calibrated carefully. Hirata-san actually used up most of his seedlings in his first 3 plots because his machine was planting too many seedlings in each hole. Even though he noticed after his first pass, he may not have enough seedlings to fully plant this last tambo. Just to be safe, Hirata-san has ordered several more trays of rice seedlings. Here's a different view of the rice field taken from the road above. Below you can see Hirata-san and his rice planter in action. With machines like this one, it's easy for most Japanese rice farmers to finish planting in one day. Even though their farms are quite small, Japanese rice farmers make a good living because the price of Japanese rice remains quite high. Hirata-san's son-in-law Richard is a good friend of mine, and he's helping with the rice planting today. I've known Richard for about 8 years. He is planting the bare sections by hand. The seedling rows look very straight. Good job, Richard and Hirata-san. There will be rain for the next 3 days, so this field will be ready just in time. Back home at my farm, we will soon transplant more seedlings like these cucumbers, basil, togan, parsley, and okra. On the left you can see that we already harvested all of our onions and sky beans. We just have some cosmos flowers and okra growing there now. Here are some of our green and red perilla. Some cucumbers. And some Swiss chard. This year we have a bumper crop of zucchini. String beans, and mini tomatoes. To control the weeds between my vegetable rows, I plowed them into the soil today with my Honda cultivator, and the garden looks a lot better now. I'm now beside the parking lot at Mount Inasa. There's a large park and playground for children here. Behind me is a large outdoor concert stage. And above on my left, you can see the red and white towers on top of Mount Inasa. On the other side of this large parking lot is Mount Inasa's slope car. Although it normally takes passengers up to the top of Mount Inasa, a 271-step climb, unfortunately it's closed today. On the way up to the summit, there's an outdoor pen for deer, and there are quite a few here. On the right you can see the slope car rail that runs beside this pen. Here's a closer look at one of these deer. Next to the deer pen there is a large outdoor enclosure for monkeys. Although there are some monkeys near my farm in Amora, local residents don't see them very often. I'm about halfway up the stairs to the summit and looking down. Behind me you can see the top of Mount Inasa at the end of this slope car rail. As you approach the summit, the path runs under the rail. I'm only about 200 meters from the top now. At the top of Mount Inasa are some tall red and white telecommunication towers. As I pan to the left, you can see the spiral staircase that leads to the top of the observation tower. Due to pandemic restrictions, the interior of this tower is closed to the public. On my left, and from a height of 333 meters, you can get a spectacular view of downtown Nagasaki. I'm now at the top of the spiral staircase looking toward the telecommunication towers and the outlook perch that I showed you in my last video clip. On the observation tower, the view of Nagasaki is even nicer. As you can see, there are only a few people here today taking in the view. On my right you can see Iojima Island, and next to the small bay is Fukuda's Sunset Marina. Further on the right, there is the outdoor concert stage that I showed you earlier. Around this circular observation tower are maps of the surrounding views and posters describing Nagasaki's major events and tourist destinations, like these ones down here. In this direction you can clearly see the suburbs of Itakami, not far from Peace Park, Nagayo, and Togetsu. As I pan to the right, you can see some of the schools and hotels at the base of this mountain, and the two long white buildings of Nagasaki Station that I showed you in episode 38. Here's a poster displaying two venues in Nagasaki. On the right of Nagasaki Station is Nagasaki Harbor, the one I showed you in episode 31. This is where ferry passengers can travel to Goto, Iojima, and Gunkanjima via this inlet on the right. On this side of the inlet you can see some of Mitsubishi shipyards below, and on the other side of the inlet are places like Chinatown, Dejima, and Glover Garden. The large bridge in the distance is Megami Bridge, the one I showed you in episode 17. Before it gets dark, I want to show you the Heartstone located on this observation tower. There it is below. Finally, I will show you one of Japan's top 3 night views. Mount Inasa's night view is commonly referred to here as the $10 million view, and you can see why. There isn't any fog this evening, so you can clearly see what Nagasaki looks like when it's lit up. Mount Inasa is a great place to visit and view the scenery, especially at night. And now for this week's challenging questions. First, how many rows of seedlings did the Mitsubishi rice planting machine plant in one pass? Second, how many telecommunication towers can you find at the summit of Mount Inasa? Be the first to correctly answer both of these questions in the comments section below. I will announce the first 3 people who do so at the beginning of episode 47. You can find a complete list of the contents of my vlog episodes on the Facebook link listed below, and you can watch all of my vlog episodes on my online YouTube playlist. Today's B-roll involved farming, so in episode 47 my B-roll will involve cooking. Stay tuned for more interesting vlogs from and about Nagasaki. See you next week.